As a person who doesn't need the most robust tablet, the base model iPads have always been a go-to for me. After using the iPad 5th generation for around 4 years, I sold and replaced it with the new 9th generation iPad that came out around a month ago back in September. There aren't any noticeable changes from the outside of the iPad compared to the previous generation. In fact, I think this is now the only iPad in the lineup that still has a home button, uneven bezels, and a headphone jack. However, when you think about it, the design doesn't matter that much. I mean, for the people who plan on buying an iPad like this at this price, they would probably be a bit more concerned about if it's a good tablet overall or not. This iPad, just like all the base models before it, is mostly a spec upgrade, but it's also a welcomed one. First of all, performance-wise, it has the A13 Bionic chip that we see in the iPhone 11 and the iPhone SE. I still use the iPhone 11 today, and the chip still feels very snappy and efficient. Nowadays, we don't really need to upgrade to the newest stuff to get good performance, which is great. I'd say that the processor can definitely handle some basic photo and video editing. I also tried to do some gaming on this thing and had quite a blast because the tablet showed no sign of struggle, which is a great thing because the games I run, as you can see, do require quite some processing power. Okay, the processing power is the most significant upgrade, but thankfully there are also some cool changes that came to the front-facing selfie camera. Apple introduced something called Centerstage a while back with the iPad Pros, which takes advantage of their ultra-wide front-facing camera in FaceTime. The iPad software basically tracks and follows the subject in a FaceTime call, which creates an effect that is usually achieved by using gimbals. With the 9th generation iPad, this feature is brought to the most affordable model. Another cool thing about having a 12 megapixel ultra-wide front-facing camera, that's a lot to say, is that you can take super wide angle selfies, which in my opinion is pretty cool, despite the fact that I probably won't use it that often. There aren't any major changes when it comes to the front-facing camera, but it can now record 1080p video at both 25 and 30 FPS instead of just 30 FPS in the previous generation. This iPad also has an updated display with True Tone technology, which means that it will use multi-channel sensors to change the color and intensity of its display based on the ambient light around it. In simpler terms, the display can look either warmer or cooler to create a more pleasing experience for the user. You can disable this feature if you want to, but it is a pretty nice upgrade in my opinion. My favorite improvement this iPad has over the previous generations is the amount of storage you get for your money. The base model configuration now starts at 64 gigabytes instead of just 32, and you can now go up to 256 gigabytes instead of just 228. In a nutshell, I am really glad that I chose this year to upgrade. I mean, better performance, an ultra-wide camera, True Tone, and more storage for the same price as last year? Yes please. These small upgrades do add up to create a much better overall experience, and this is the iPad to get if you just want an iPad. And it's also the one that I would recommend to most people. Wait, I think this makes the iPad Air the only iPad without Centerstage capabilities. I mean, that's kinda awkward, not gonna lie. But whatever. Hope you enjoyed this video or learned something new, and do consider subscribing. Have a great day.